When I think about Bruce Springsteen and Born in the USA, I think about Jordan Pugh because he keeps it real, and that's very American. We go to the Buppy's Catering Hotline. There he is. What's up, Jordan?
What's going on, man? How you living?
I'm okay. So I've been, what's the word I want to use here? Not justifying. I've been projecting these positive thoughts that, you know what, yes, Le'Veon getting hurt sucks, but I think they're built to withstand it this year better than they were last year. And I've given some reasons. I think the defense is better. I think your running back room is better. So what do you think? Can they handle this stretch without Le'Veon better than they handled it last year?
Yes, I think they can. I think they're built for it. Like you said, we're playing complementary football as a team. Defense is doing their part, offense is doing their part, special teams are doing their part. But most importantly, the most important factor, the number one factor is we have depth. Okay. Last year, we didn't have Reuben Owens when he went down. Okay, until the Texas game, right? You already know what Amari Daniels can do. We have a young freshman back that can make plays. We have guys who can make plays, plus the wide receiver position, man. We already know what that is. We've been making plays all year. So the depth and the complementary pieces that we have offensively, same thing on the defensive side of the ball. I think we are built different this year, and I think we're built the right way. We're not fancy. You know, it's not a lot of splash to us. We just go in there, blue collar, and handle business. So I think that we have everything that we need in order to produce the results that we want, even when guys go down. And you're looking at it from the defensive side of the ball. Look at what Damian Sanford's doing, right? With Scooby Williams being out. Guys are stepping in and making plays. So I think we're built correct.
Well, and not only are we built differently, I think mentally we're built differently, right? Like, I think some of the calluses from last season are still there. So, like, areas that were pitfalls before, what Coach Elko keeps doing is things that were a narrative, he gets rid of them, and we start new narratives.
Well, I think, like you said, with the mentality part, if you think about it, man, it's really a mirror image of where we were last year. All right, so we had the initial blunder against Notre Dame last year, went on that run, and then things kind of just fell apart. We're kind of in that same exact scenario that we are right now. I want to say tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it started with the South Carolina game. I can't remember correctly. But we were on the road. So we're starting this 3-game road stretch now. Where we're going in, we're away from home. Momentum will be on the home team side, that kind of deal. I think this is, I don't call it a crossroads. We're not at that point. It is not that dramatic, right? But what I'm saying, I think this is the new challenge now. We've had the success. We've been here before. We've been in this situation as recent as last year. But when you look at the identity of where we are, when you look at the type of team that we are, how we put people in a chokehold and we don't let them out, I think we are built to win and sustain now, especially going on the road. Arkansas, LSU, South Carolina, if I'm correct. I think we have everything that we need, man, and the type of team and the type of play style to win on the road and sustain what we're doing.
Yeah, I think so too. So when you look at getting back to the backfield, Reuben Owens didn't have he didn't have the Mississippi State game against Florida. And part of that is, I think, that defensive front that Florida has. So kind of compare what Florida's was able to do defensively and then kind of project it with what's ahead. Arkansas doesn't do a great job against the run. LSU, I think they're a work in progress, although they're a top 10 team. We know going to Baton Rouge is ridiculous. Missouri's taken on one really good team this year, and that's Alabama, and they went toe-to-toe with them. So when you kind of think about these next three and, what this backfield can do, what do you see?
Well, I think that the backfield production is based off the wide receiver production. The difference between where we were last year and this year is we have home run hitters on the outside, which reduces the amount of box players that you have. So it opens up the run game. It allows our guys to be more effective. So we go back to last year. Look how good Le'Veon was without a true threat in the passing game last year. Now you're seeing him take off. You're seeing Reuben Owens take off. And I think what it does is it forces the defense to make a decision. So when you look at a defense like Florida, we talked about how big of a challenge that would be because we knew that they had a great defense, but they've just been lacking on the offensive side of the football. When you go down these next couple games, when you look at Arkansas, I think that's a game that we can handle. You look at LSU, that'll be a challenge because they have some front seven players that can play. South Carolina, they have a good front seven. But I think with what we've done as far as building from the outside in year 2 versus from the inside in year 1, we're really opening up the run game. Plus, Reuben offers a little bit different package than Le'Veon does. He can line up. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's more of an explosive threat in that sense. Plus, he can run in between the tackles. So I think the creativity of what Colin Klein wants to do will be on full display because of just the skill set that he has, right? And he can be that bruiser too. So when you look at overall where we were from last year to this year, I think having the additions in the home run threats at the receiver position allows us to be way more effective in the run game, plus Marcel's feet. So I think those are all big additions, man. That will be big time on the road for us because we can silence a lot of the crowd and we can take away a lot of what the defense wants to do based off the three-headed component that we have with the run, the pass, and then Marcel's feet.
Jordan, am I being a homer here? I thought Des Ricks was picked on a little bit, and I thought he had pretty good coverage for the most part. I just feel like the throws and catches were fantastic early on. It seemed like they made a concerted effort to go after him, and they had initial success. But again, like outside of a play or two, I feel like it was just really good throws and really good catches.
Yes and no. I think he played, well, let me take that back. I was about to say he played his worst game. I don't think he played his worst game. I just think he played a game where he was going against elite talent. Those receivers they got at Florida are good, and they're young. That's going to be a problem moving forward. But I just think it's one of those games where he was off, right? I've been talking more about Will Lee and how he needs to step up. I thought Will Lee played his best game of the year, and I thought Dez played his worst game of the year. So, it's one of those deals where, man, you play this game long enough, things are going to happen. You're going to give up plays. That's the nature of being on the island at the corner position. But the consistency that he's shown throughout the year, it gives me full confidence of him moving forward. Then with what Will did, I thought Will really stepped up. I thought he played well. You knew that they were going to attack him based off everything that has been shown on film, and I thought he played his best game outright. He was making plays in the past game. He was stepping up and filling in run gaps, so I thought he did a really good job. But I think Des Ricks will be fine, man. It's just one of those weeks. It just is what it is. It happens. You play long enough, you're going to get beat on some routes. That's just how it works at the DB position, and I think he'll be fine.
All right, Jordan, so what do they do? I mean, Florida scores 14 quick early points in the fourth quarter. Then they got outscored 20-3. So what happened? Like, what changed?
I think that we saw. So what you saw was a different Florida team. So when they played Texas, they had their full stable back, right? But it was only a 1-game sample size. So you don't have a lot of game prep with those individual players on the football field. So you knew this was going to be one of those deals where, hey, man, they can get out early. They have the guys who can hit the home run threats on us. But once again, we made the adjustments. Once again, our front seven started to take over and control the games. Once again, we earned the right to rush the passer on third down because we controlled first and second down. But if you notice, man, we have that crazy stat on third down that everybody's talking about. But when you look, I really would like to know what the stats are on first and second down because we're getting in more and more third and long distances. So it's allowing Elko to be more creative when it comes to the defensive play calling and the schemes and schematics of it all. So, man, what we've done defensively, man, being able to make the adjustments with our front seven being able to step up, that's where you're seeing a lot of the success happen.
So I hate to keep going last year, this year, but because we're in such a similar position, it becomes an easy talking point. But another thing about last year to this year, I remember doing this show and I talked to you about it. And like, even though they were 6-1, 7-1, I was like, but they keep giving up the big plays, right? Yeah. And that was a storyline from the Notre Dame game beyond. Yeah. I don't see that this year. Like, I mean, sure, there's some big plays. Of course, it's football. You're going to give up big plays. But the tackling, significantly better, right, Jordan? Like, they're gang tackling. Like, their ability to get in the backfield. There's a reason, like, the quarterbacks are struggling against A&M is because the pressure they put on them. So I'm saying all these things as a way to not only convince myself, but to also nail the point. Like, I do believe in this team.
Yes. We take it from week one all the way to now. They've improved every single week, right? The first 2 weeks were giving up perimeter runs. We're not gap sound. There was one particular play where I saw the maturation of this defense. It was made from Dalton Brooks. He was 15 yards off the football. I want to say it was the third quarter. He came down and he filled in. It looked like it was a cover 4 setting on defense. He came down, he filled the run and made a stop for a 1-yard gain. When I saw that play, I said, they're getting it now. It's clicking because the way that he triggered, how fast that he triggered on that football and made that play. Now you're seeing the totality of the defense come in. And so we talked about playing that first and second down, everybody being gap sound. They're closing off the perimeter runs. They're taking away initial threats that they want offensively to their best players. Our safeties are making tackles for 1-yard gains behind the line of scrimmage. Our blitz packages on third down are phenomenal. You are seeing a team that has matured, that has fixed the small, minute things, and now it's allowing the defense to be complete and play at its full potential. That's what we're seeing. Now, the beautiful thing that I love about what we're doing defensively is defense travels, especially going on the road. And the way that we're tackling right now, that is what you want as far as progressing throughout the season and peaking at the right time. The one thing that let us down really was the defense last year, the missed tackles, because we scored the points. We were in games offensively. But now looking at what our defense is doing, looking at how Cassius Howell, Searcy, you're looking at Hayes, man, what they're doing coming through on the defensive line, that stuff travels. And so, man, it's going to be vital that the defense keeps the momentum up. They keep playing gap sound, because there's going to be some lulls on the road offensively. That's just the nature of how this game goes. And I think they can keep us in every game. But I love the way that the defense is playing, man. It's exciting to see. I need 2 more games. I need 2 more games before I start throwing that little phrase around, something called the wrecking crew around. I need about 2 more games. If I get to those 2 more games, especially on the road, I think we have something special.
Jordan, here's a stupid question. All right, you ready for a stupid one? Why? I've said it my whole life. Okay, why does defense travel? What about defense travels but offense doesn't? What is it about defense that can weather the environment, the atmosphere? Why does it not matter as much?
Because offense requires chemistry and timing. Defense requires chaos. People complicate the game of football too much. It's not a very complicated football game. On defense, it is my job to whoop your ass and create as much chaos as possible. So then I disrupt timing. I disrupt chemistry. I disrupt all the flow of the offense. The reason why the offense is a little bit harder on the road is because, man, you're talking about conditions with noise, momentum. All that stuff is real, and it takes time to create a flow of chemistry. That's why on the road offense, you want to start fast. You want to get the plays out. You want to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand, create rhythm as fast as possible. Defense is about effort. Defense is about want to. Yes, schemes matter. But, man, if you can create the chaos, if you can whoop that man in front of you, you take away a lot of what the offense wants to do. That's why it always travels. That's why whenever you start practice, defense is always ahead of the offense. And if you have guys like that we have at the front seven that can create chaos, that can cause all those things to collapse, those are what you're looking for. And that's the progression that I've seen, man, with us this season. I think it's been a beautiful thing.
Jordan, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to create shirt ideas that never get done. And I think we've created a new shirt idea. Did you say defense is about chaos? What was the exact phrase? Because it was perfect.
I said offense is about chemistry. Defense is about chaos. And I think people lose sight in that, man. Defense, I'm getting in my coaching mode now.
Come on, get coach. I want to hear it.
What that joker's butt in front of you. It's simple. It's not that complicated, because if you're doing that, it allows me to do what I want to on the back end. Man, so if we understand that simple concept, if we have that in our mindset, it takes care of everything else, man. I do like that for a shirt, man. We need to put that together. Offense is about chemistry. Defense is about chaos. It's that simple.
Bam. All right. I'm making that shirt one day. CC Creations, I'm hollering. Cassius Howell. That's chaos right there, my friend.
Yes.
Chaos Cassius.
I was thinking about this. So, we had Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, those guys on the D-line, right? The one thing that I think Cassius does really well that people aren't talking about is how well he plays the run. The more and more that I watch the tape, the more and more I'm falling in love with how he plays the run. Then when we get to the passing downs, it's full havoc from there. He's playing his way into a first-round draft pick. I mean, he's doing things, man. His knee, his bend, his sprint to power. I think, man, he is the agent of chaos. He's everything that you want as a defensive coordinator, because he just creates problems. And then he's opening up other opportunities for guys on the defensive line. The Searcy's, Hayes, Regis, all those guys are benefiting based off what he's doing. The growth of this team from game 1 to whatever game we're on now, game 6 or game 7, it's been phenomenal. Now, this is where we have to bring it back home. And I love what Elko's doing, because he's always bringing it back home. It is going to be the toughest stretch of the season, because now we're taking this thing on the road 3 straight times. Where is the focus now? That's the hardest part. We figured out everything else. Can we retain the focus defensively, offensively? Can we keep that going in environments that are not favorable to us? That's going to be the next test. I believe that's why nobody's talking about us. We're the 4th ranked team in the country, and we're the quietest fourth-ranked team I've ever seen, right? Because I still think people have their doubts, have their wits. And I think when we go on the road to Arkansas, especially when we go on the road to LSU, that's going to wake a lot of people up based on how we focus and if we continue to execute.
So I'm watching those highlights. I don't know if you got to see him play on Zoom, but he's being held on every play, right? So, there's the Shaq rules. Like, they changed the rules because Shaq was so dominant. It felt like they called the game differently. Cassius has been so dominant that they are allowing the Florida offensive lineman to grab his jersey on almost every play.
That's what happens when you're agent of chaos, man. Yeah. Look, every defensive coordinator wants one thing on the defensive line: create as much humanly chaos and violence as possible. And that's what Cassius is doing. That's what everybody's doing across the defensive line. Because when you do that, it opens up the playbook. It opens up the blitz packages. It allows you to play more man coverage because you have those hosses up front. You're seeing a team that is built right from the inside out. That is sustainable, and those are the models that you want to have.
Damian Sanford, every week, something happens. You're like, man, that's a game-changing play. Like, this kid is playing, man.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What's the report on Scooby? What's going on with him?
He played a little bit. I just think they're going to – the fact that you have Sanford has allowed you to take your time with him. And I'm kind of hoping that's what happens with Le'Veon, that, like, Ruben does so well, that Amari does so well, Morrow does so well, EJ, that you can take your time with Le'Veon. I think that's what's happening with Scooby. But at the same time, Sanford's becoming a starter.
We said this, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We said, hey, man, do you take him off the field because he's hot? But here's the thing that everybody needs to be excited about. Okay, let's say you know nothing about football and you're trying to understand how this game of football works, how it plays. You always need depth. If you have depth that is producing at the starting level, that is a championship format, and that's a championship foundation. And what you are seeing is key depth pieces that are coming in and nothing is falling off. There's no foundational issues. There's no cracks. You're watching guys who are stepping in and contributing right away. That's what you want to have within that. So what Sanford is doing and how he's come in and replaced Scooby Williams has been phenomenal. And it's hard to take those type of guys off the football field.
Jordan, let's close out with some thoughts about Arkansas. Taylor Green, dynamic quarterback, a team that can score points on anybody. They're going to be at home. It'll be Petrino's first home game as the interim head coach. How nasty can this one get, or is this a game that A&M should take care of business and put it on ice as they do in the fourth quarter?
They should take care of business. They should. Here's the caveat: you have a dynamic quarterback, okay, and then you have a play caller in Petrino, okay, who's going to dial up some things that's going to create a lot of eye violations. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the focus. When I talk about understanding your assignment and then being able to handle all the ups and downs of playing on the road. That's the number one thing. So defensively, I can see Petrino attacking Cassius Howe, a guy who likes to get upfield, get vertical, create the chaos, use that against use his greatest strength against him, right? Looking at the different eye disciplines. Those are going to be the key focus things that we got to have defensively. Offensively, I think we can do what we want at will. The number one key is this: can we continue to hit the open shots when they're there, or the open layups? What I mean by this is, I said this last week, we are going to go as far as Marcel takes us. And I think if we continue to improve on those deep ball shots, because we've improved on the intermediate, the run game, all that. But if we can improve on the home runs and take the air out of the stadium, I think that's going to be big for us. So, man, we should handle them. We are the better team without a shadow of a doubt. But when you have a mobile quarterback who can create plays, that creates life, that creates momentum, that creates a flow. We have got to be able to eliminate that, because that's what happened to us against South Carolina last year. You had a mobile quarterback who did those things. So we can focus up and do that. We should handle business easily.
Jordan, as always, great stuff, bro. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.